Hello, Trina. It's such an honor to have you as a guest on the Paleo Gardening Expert Interview segment. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Lynn. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So, Trina, how would you explain all that you do to anyone unfamiliar with your work?
Well, I have taken my health and I have made it very important for me to prevent anything that I can in the future. And that includes my diet, that includes what I put on my skin, that includes anything in my environment. So I like to say that I'm a biohacker. I'm biohacking the way my body functions in relation to what I use as food and as skincare, as well as other things in the environment.
So everyone has a unique story of how they regained their health in the paleo world. So could you tell me about your journey to starting the paleo diet?
Absolutely. So I was very health conscious. I was a nurse. I'd been practicing nursing for about 15 years at the time. And I was 39 years old, just graduated from anesthesia school, and my husband and I went to Fiji to get married, which was a beautiful place to get married. But we knew we were going to start a family right away. And I ended up getting pregnant on my honeymoon. And when we came back to the States at week 7, I miscarried. And I was extremely devastated because I knew that I was extremely healthy in the way that I ate. So I started to investigate things in my environment because I knew that if there was something that I could change and help prevent something like this from happening again, I knew as a nurse that things could genetically be wrong. But I knew that if there was something that in my environment I had control over that I could change, that I needed to do so. So I luckily got pregnant again very quickly, and I was at week 7 getting ready for work one morning, and I happened to glance down at my moisturizer, and I realized that there were ingredients that were extremely harmful, not just to me, but to my baby that was growing inside me. There were cancer-causing ingredients. There were neurotoxins, endocrine disruptors, and I was just kind of blown away because it was a company that labeled themselves as organic, labeled themselves as natural, and yet there were ingredients in there that were extremely harmful. So I, at that point, unplugged from what I consider big cosmo or the mainstream cosmetic industry, and I decided that it was in my ability to make my own skincare products. So that's what I did. I went out on an adventure and started making my own products. I started seeing amazing results. My husband and I, during this time period, converted to a paleo diet, which basically means you're eating real food or real food sources. So it's not processed, no artificial sugars, no artificial ingredients. You're eating basically vegetables, fruits, fish, meat, nuts, things like that. What I realized also is that my skincare is also paleo, that if I feed my skin the same type of diet that I feed my insides, that my cells, because health all comes down to your cellular health, and if your cells are healthy, then the rest of you will be healthy or as healthy as possible. So it became, for me, a mission to optimize my health in every way that I could. So I created a skincare line made from food sources. I call it plant-based or food sources.
So what led you to create the Primal Life Organics skincare company?
So it was during that time after I had miscarried, I went on to have my daughter. I created products for her, baby products, because I was just concerned that there was nothing out there. I really was concerned with the number of ingredients that were in every skincare product. When you look at a label and you see phthalates and parabens and fragrance itself is a really harmful ingredient because it's a trade secret. A company doesn't have to tell you what makes up its fragrance because it's considered a secret to that company. Unfortunately, they have a database of around 3,500 different chemicals that they can use to pull from to make that specific fragrance. And most of those ingredients are neurotoxins, cancer-causing ingredients. They're also endocrine disruptors. but you may never know it because they don't have to list them out specifically. All they have to do is label them as a fragrance. So in seeing all of these things that were harmful, not just for a newborn or a developing baby, but also for myself, I decided to just start creating my own skincare. So in creating it, I started to see amazing results. When I decided to give up Big Cosmo, I was 39 years old and I had acne. I had always suffered from acne. I had very oily skin, and I was literally terrified because what I was using, I assumed was helping to get rid of my acne, even though it never did. When I converted to what I consider a real food diet for my skin, for the first time in my life, my skin cleared up, my acne went away, and I realized it was because the ingredients that are put in commercial skincare can actually irritate the skin, dry it out, dehydrate it so bad that you overproduce your own sebum, as well as the ingredients are harsh and can cause acne or irritate acne. And that's literally what was happening. I was overproducing sebum. I was breaking out as almost like a reaction to the ingredients, as well as makeup. Makeup is another irritant for the skin because of the way the ingredients are sourced or washed. So once I converted and made everything and saw the results in myself, I started making it for other people, and they started getting the exact same type of results I had. And basically just started my own company. At the time, it was 2009. It was the year after my daughter was born, and I launched a company called Olive's Organic Botanicals, and converted to the Paleo diet in 2010 before my twins were born, and then converted my company to Paleo skincare because I saw a big need for the Paleo community, or I call it the uber healthy community, in looking for skincare solutions that did not contain harmful ingredients, something that would actually work. I used my nursing background to help formulate my products so that they would actually heal the skin and heal the body. So I put my nursing care into my skincare line. And ironically, my very first nursing job was in the burn center. And working in an environment around the skin when it's damaged had a huge impact on me. I learned a lot about the skin. I learned that the skin itself is protective, that every organ in your body actually relies on your skin for protection. Without it, you won't survive. And when it's damaged, it can actually regenerate and heal. So it was hard to watch people go through a burn injury, but on the other hand, I learned so much about the healing that can happen. And so my skincare line that I created is meant to nourish the skin and nourish the body through the skin, which is actually your largest organ.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. I'm glad you did this. That's cool.
Thank you.
So your company, Primal Life Organics, it just had quite the makeover with the new website, and it looks wonderful. So how many years has the Primal Life Organics been in business?
So my first company was Olive's, and I started that in 2009. So technically, I started my company in 2009. I relaunched it in 2012 as Primal Life Organics. It was the exact same company. I just relaunched it, rebranded it. And just recently, 1 month ago from the time we're taping this, I relaunched Primal Life Organics with a whole new website, a whole new look. As we're growing, we needed to update our website as well as update our look. When I started the company, my background isn't in marketing. It's not in design. So I created a line, my logo and things based on the things that I liked at the time. And we just needed to update it and get a fresh new look. So what you see today is completely different, but it's still the same company. It's still fresh. It's made fresh as it's ordered. And we just made the website a little easier to navigate as well as a little bit nicer to look at. So
always fun to remodel.
Redecorate and remodel. Yeah, I love doing that.
Yep. New paint job. Yep. So how has your journey to health affected the way that you help others?
like I said, I'm a nurse by background. I'm a nurse anesthetist. As I went back to anesthesia school, I learned about the body at the cellular level and how things actually affect it. So I learned how medications or skincare is absorbed, how we metabolize it, where we store it, and then how we excrete it. And knowing all of this, when I formulate my skincare, like I said, I formulate it with healing ingredients made from plants, or I also use clays, which are very detoxifying and healing, as well as herbs in my formulations. But they're all meant to help you look younger, feel better, and live longer using real food or plant-based skincare products.
Sounds like the only way to go.
And it really works fabulous. I mean, it really nourishes your skin. What I didn't realize when I was using commercial skincare is that if you look at most skincare products, the very first ingredient you're going to find on the label is water. And while water in small doses on your skin is okay, the problem with skincare is that it's overused. Almost every product contains water as the first ingredient. And when it's listed as the first ingredient, that product can be up to 75% water. When you put that product on your skin, water doesn't absorb, it dehydrates or it evaporates. And as it evaporates, it also takes with it some of your own protective oils. And as it's pulling those oils away, it's dehydrating your skin. So very little nourishment will actually happen if water is the first ingredient, because it's going to be dehydrating and pulling the moisture out of your skin. Unfortunately, it's counterintuitive to almost every product out there that wants to moisturize and nourish. Dehydrated skin actually looks older because it accentuates the wrinkles. I tell people that one of the fastest ways to look younger and get a fresh look on your face is to just put oil on your face, because oil is what will be absorbed. It's what nourishes your skin and your cells, and as your cells are nourished by the oil, they plump up, and hydrated cells will actually look younger because your wrinkles will be less prominent if you're using oil-based skincare.
Wow, this is cool. So can you tell me more about your book, Beauty's Dirty Secret?
Yes, Beauty's Dirty Secret. I wrote it as a nurse, and I really wanted to get the message out there that there are things in skincare that you're not aware of. Beauty has a secret, and Big Cosmo keeps this secret from you because they don't really want you to know that the things that they're putting in there are not quite as, they're not helping you. There's ingredients that can cause cancer, can cause endocrine disruption. Your endocrine system is your hormonal system. And part of your hormonal system is your reproductive system. There are so many women suffering from inability to get pregnant. The rise of infertility is just huge right now, and it's really devastating. But when you look at the skincare products that you're using, there are ingredients in there that could be causing your hormones to become disrupted and not function properly. The other thing with the hormones is that your thyroid gland is part of your hormonal system as well. And if your thyroid's not functioning correctly, you could also be, your thyroid's responsible for your metabolism. Your metabolism might be slow and sluggish. You might be holding on to excess fat. So these ingredients that Big Cosmo is putting in your skincare could be doing more harm than good. So I wrote my book as a nurse, trying to help people understand that what you put on your skin, your largest organ, is extremely important. Mainly because the way you absorb things through your skin is different than the way you bring them, when you bring them in through your mouth, when you eat something. Your body has a protective mechanism called the liver, so that the liver can actually detoxify things that aren't good for you, convert them from oil soluble to water soluble so you can excrete them in the urine. Unfortunately, when you're absorbing something through your skin, it doesn't go to your liver. It could actually travel throughout your body first and settle in any fatty tissue, including your brain. So it's really, really important to understand the difference between how things are absorbed from your skincare as well as when you eat them, and how when we're taking in so many different toxins or ingredients that are harmful, they compile, they add up very quickly. It's been said that women use between 12 and 15 different types of products every single day. And if those products each contain 5 to 7 harmful ingredients, you're taking a chemical bath every single day when you put commercial skincare. And one of the ingredients or products that people use every day that they don't realize could be so harmful is toothpaste. I created a tooth powder made from clay because clay contains the minerals that your teeth need to actually stay strong and healthy, whereas commercial toothpaste might be cleaning your teeth, but it doesn't contain any minerals to improve your health. My background in nursing, my science behind my skincare is to improve your health and to put what your body needs in it to maintain strength and integrity.
That's cool. I had never thought about how much stuff is in each ingredient, and the fact that, when it comes in through the skin, it bypasses that digestive system, and it can go anywhere.
It can go anywhere. And, it can go to your brain, your heart, your liver, your lung, your fatty tissue. A lot of times people, when they go on a diet and they lose weight, most of these ingredients are oil-soluble or lipid-loving ingredients. So they're going to settle in your fat tissue. Sometimes what happens when you start to lose weight is that you get an influx of these ingredients, these chemicals, because they've been sitting in your fat tissue. As you're breaking down your fat tissue, you can get an influx of some of these. So the first couple of days of a diet, you feel really good, but day 5, 7, 9, you start to feel a little sluggish, and that could be why, because some of these ingredients are sitting in your fat tissue, and they're starting to be broken down or metabolized or pushed into your vascular system to be traveled to another part or to your liver, hopefully, so you can get rid of them.
Yeah, wow. So could you explain your process for developing new products for Primal Life Organics?
Yeah, when I decide that I want to make a new product, I've made so many new products. What I usually like to do is develop the product so that I can put the ingredients in it that are very healing for the body and provide the nourishment for your cells. So, for instance, my tooth powder is a very good example of this. My daughter was born with a defect in one of her molars, and at the age of 2, when this molar came to surface, we took her to the dentist because we noticed it had like a black spot in the middle of the molar, and the dentist said that it was a defect from in utero, that most likely that tooth would never survive, that it was probably going to get worse, and probably within a year she would lose that tooth. So I decided that there's got to be a better answer. I started researching toothpaste and realized that not only is it loaded with ingredients that can cause harm, but it really doesn't do anything to improve the integrity of that tooth. So I started looking into what could be used to put the minerals in that tooth so that it would actually strengthen. And what I found was that clay contains the exact same minerals in the exact form that your teeth need to strengthen. So I developed my Dirty Mouth tooth powder made from 3 different clays, so you get a blend of different minerals. The minerals have to be inside your mouth. You cannot leach minerals from your bloodstream, so you cannot take a supplement or a vitamin to strengthen your teeth. This all has to happen inside your mouth. The conditions have to be right. The tooth has to be clean. The mineral has to be in the ion form. It has to be right there at the surface of the tooth that has an opening or a defect. And by defect, I mean like if you have a sensitive tooth, that means that you're leaching minerals, you're losing minerals. And we do this every day. We lose minerals from our teeth, and hopefully we're replacing them faster than we're losing them. When you lose them faster than you can replace them, or if your diet is lacking those minerals, then you end up with a sensitive spot and eventually a cavity that needs to be filled or worse. So in using clay as you're brushing your teeth, those minerals are right there. Clay is non-abrasive but gently cleans. So it's going to clean the surface, have the minerals right there, so the minerals can actually go back into the tooth. She is now 8 years old, still has the original temporary filling, and that tooth looks perfectly fine. I've had people, I had a woman that went to the dentist had 6 cavities. 1 needed a root canal. She ended up going to get her root canal. She started using the Dirty Mouth tooth powder about 6 weeks before going to get her root canal done, sat down in the chair, and they told her she only had 1 small cavity, that she no longer needed a root canal. All her other teeth had healed, and that one that needed a root canal had a small cavity in it. So it does work. You just have to have the minerals right there. And what's interesting, if you look back, isn't that cool? If you look back at our diet, the soil used to be mineral rich. So when you ate carrots and beets and tomatoes or whatever, you were eating the minerals in your food that would be at your teeth, that would go back into your teeth. But because our soil is so depleted of minerals, we aren't getting the minerals that we need. And because you can't leach them from your bloodstream, it's not available. If you're brushing with commercial toothpaste, the other problem is that if it contains glycerin, which most of them do, glycerin will put a coating on your teeth, and it's speculated that coating actually prevents minerals from getting into your teeth, even if they're available in your food. So unfortunately, we might be cleaning our teeth, but we're not doing anything to improve the strength and integrity of our teeth. So by using tooth powder or clay, you can actually strengthen your teeth. And clay is awesome. It not only does it clean your teeth, but it whitens your teeth, because clay is a natural whitener. It's going to pull away stains and things as you're brushing. So clay will whiten your teeth, and it's also a detoxifier. So what my customers also found is that as they were brushing their teeth with clay, they realized that they were waking up and didn't have bad breath in the morning, and that during the day, their breath never got funky. So I started getting these emails, and I had to reverse engineer why this was happening. But what I found out or realized is that clay detoxifies. So as you're brushing your teeth, clay is going to be pulling toxins from your gum tissue as well. And it leaves your natural bacteria in place. It's not harsh, not like commercial toothpaste. Commercial toothpaste is so harsh, it's going to kill your natural bacteria, and you're going to have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, which is going to cause not just gum disease and gingivitis and things like that, but it's also going to cause bad breath. When you're brushing with clay, it's very gentle. It leaves your natural bacteria in place that can help fight bad bacteria, and you're not going to end up with bad breath, as well as you're going to have beautiful white teeth. So,
wow, that's so exciting.
I bet you know. I know. I bet you never heard that from your dentist, right? I do a whole webinar, and I've actually done this talk with some dentists that were like, "Wow, this is amazing." I have some dentists that use my tooth powder. I actually have some dentists that sell it, because they have fallen in love with it. They realize that it's what works to help prevent dental caries. It prevents bad breath, gingivitis, all sorts of things.
That's beautiful. Neat. I'm so glad you're on to this. This is cool.
So, yeah, when I go to formulate something, it's based on that. It's based on what's the problem, how do I actually nourish whatever it is I'm trying to nourish. So this was the teeth. But if I'm trying to get rid of acne, how do I make it so that the skin can normalize and actually function the way it was intended? The cells can decongest, and the skin can function the way it was meant to. So I try to look for ingredients that are healing and nourishing.
Yeah, it's like total opposite of what the commercial places are trying to do. They're looking for money, not our health.
Right, and most of the ingredients that they put in are either lab made, and really your cells are real. They need real nourishment, real food. If it's made in a lab, it's probably not going to do anything for your cellular health. Secondly, most of the ingredients are fillers. Water, if there's water in there, there has to be a preservative, there has to be an emulsifier. So you're just getting fillers. The actual active ingredient, for the reason you're paying so much or purchasing the product in the first place, might only be about 5% of what's actually in that product. Whereas with my product, it's all 100% active ingredient. There's no water unless it's a toner that I make with like a tea. But otherwise, my products, my moisturizers, even the tooth powder, nothing has water in it. It's all 100% concentrated, because that's really what you need. That's what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. I can't wait to get my hands on some. So would you have any tips for how to incorporate the paleo lifestyle into families with children?
Oh, that's always a challenge. I always get that question from people. And my husband and I, so we've been raising our kids paleo. We have 3 kids. My daughter is right now 8, and I have twin boys that are 6. And I think one of the most helpful things that I've said in the past that have helped other families and what I've incorporated when they were really, really little, I used to, when I would take them to the grocery store with me, and I still do this, when there was something that they wanted that was not what I would consider real food, as in, vegetables, fruits, things like that. If it was like a cracker, even if it was organic or it was something sort of natural, but if it was semi-processed, I would let them know that that was not food. I would actually call it not food, so that they got the understanding of what food was and that food nourishes the body and what not food is. So that cupcake is not food. It might taste good. You might like it. You might get it for a treat every once in a while, but it's not food, meaning it's not going to nourish your body. Whereas this apple is food. It's got nutrients in it, micronutrients in it that's going to actually nourish your body. So calling this food and calling this not food, they literally got the connection. So they even know today, like at Halloween, oh, that's not food. I'm only going to pick one instead of eat the whole bag of candy. So they're really good. My kids are really good at it. But that was one of the things I incorporated really early, was establishing what food is and why we eat it to nourish the body. Obviously, we want it to taste good, but it's really meant to nourish the body. And if it doesn't have anything in it that's going to nourish the body, then it's really not food. It's just something you're eating.
That's brilliant. It's such an easy way to figure that out. Yeah, I have, my daughter is 3 years older than my twin boys, so I had the same scenario as you did. But my kids are 28 and 25 now. But yeah, food, not food. So simple. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it was really simple for them to understand, too. So they really got the connection of what food looks like and what something that doesn't nourish. Now, they're kids, and we tried it. The other thing I've done is at home, we eat very healthy so that they have that, they've established a baseline. Obviously, when they go to someone else's house, I can't be there to control everything, but they've at least got that understanding of what food and not food is. And then I try always to relate back. If they've gone to a friend's house, they've had something they're not supposed to, they end up with a tummy ache, I always try to make them think back. What did you do yesterday? Where did you go? What did you eat? Oh, you had something that had, wheat in it or gluten, or, you had that cookie. That's probably why your tummy doesn't feel good today. So I try to relate things back so that they get the connection as well, that when I'm not feeling good and I had something a day ago or a couple hours ago, it might not be worth it in the future if I have to make this decision again. So just trying to be real, keep it real basic with them, but being really honest about what food is and why we eat it and what it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the best advice I've heard on raising children in a paleo lifestyle, because they are bombarded continually as soon as they leave the home with, all the junk food. And they do have to find their way, their path through that, just like we've had to.
And and it's not easy. It's not easy for kids because there's so much out there, and they do have to make their own decisions, and you can't really stifle that too much because then you end up with the opposite extreme. But you do want them to have that baseline knowledge of what food really is and why do we eat it and what happens when we don't eat something that's healthy for us. Because I think that's where they will later build their own value system for food, and it won't be warped and it won't be one extreme or the other. I think it'll be a healthy process just by knowing that really you want to nourish your body. The whole idea is to keep yourself healthy. Junk in means you feel like junk. If you eat healthy, you're probably going to feel much better.
Yeah, that's really nice. So are there any exciting projects you're working on for the future?
I really would love to start branching into more retail outlets. I have some wholesalers, mostly small, but we've got some products that I think, like the tooth powder, that would be amazing in some grocery stores. My deodorant very effective, 100% natural. So I think branching out into some more retailers, possibly Whole Foods, places like that, to reach more people is something that we're working on right now.
Your work has helped so many, and there are many of us who would like to see you continue. So how can anyone listening stay involved in your work?
Well, I'm on all the social media platforms, so the best way to stay connected with me is probably through Facebook. I do a lot of Facebook Live episodes. I love to do education. That's part of the nurse in me coming out. I love to educate people. I love to talk about my products, the best way to use them, answer questions when people have questions and I see them and I think, you know what, one person has this question. There's got to be other people that have the same question. So a lot of times I'll just do some webinars, Facebook Live episodes, answering a couple questions. People can actually interact right there with me because they can type a question and I can respond. So I love to interact on Facebook. But Instagram, Twitter, my Instagram handle is Primal Life Org. That's the same as my Twitter. They can get my book, copy of my book, Beauty's Dirty Secret. And then, of course, I'm always on the website at primallifeorganics.com.
Nice. That sounds great. So I want to thank you for taking the time for joining me on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love talking about this stuff. You can tell it's a passion of mine. So, and I would love to offer your listeners the ability to get their hands on some of my things with 50% off. I have a starter package that I created because when you start thinking about skincare, it's extremely overwhelming when you realize how many things you use every day. So I created a starter package that contains a face wash, a face moisturizer, a hand repair moisturizer because I'm a nurse and I worked in the OR and I needed something to protect my hands. So it works extremely well. A Dirty Mouth tooth powder as well as a deodorant for 50% off. So I can give you the link and you can post that if for your listeners. Yeah,
totally. I'm going to get me one too. That's one of the gaps that I couldn't figure out how to fill in my paleo lifestyle. You know, I got the food, I got clean air, clean water, but I had to have something to keep my hands together because we work in the dirt so much. So I'm super excited about this. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll love it. I made it because the nurses in the OR, we wash our hands constantly. Yeah. And this will actually protect your hands while you wash them through a few washings, and you can just feel the protection. It's amazing. It works incredible.
That sounds perfect for us gardeners. So for those of you listening, learn more about Trina Felber and Primal Life Organics by clicking the links in the description or by visiting primallifeorganics.com. It was a pleasure having you as a guest on the Paleo Gardening Expert interview, and I'd like you to have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it.